So we're in the solution, right? So what we're going to do is navigate to the actual repository that I have for this industry engagement. I call this Seaport Industry Engagement. Seaport means claiming partner of record because at the end of the day, in the future, we're going to cover different agentic durable functions I created to deal with this pre-sale analysis. But what I found was that in the pre-sales analysis, in my orchestration, there was this hallucination going on to be able to track enterprise customers' industry challenges by mapping them to their industry. So I had to deal with that by creating and enabling the industry team to do this, create this global catalog in Microsoft Sales to help industry teams and territory managers validate these regulatory registrations. What it does is give the global industry team an area to collaborate, also give an area to where territory managers are able to validate these registrations and the freshness of those registrations of regulatory and compliance pressures, where account managers and account executives can really be escalated to get the insights that they need on different hypotheses for transformation and AI enablement. So a lot of content here, but I'm kind of going to go jump into the architecture on what really matters, right, for these different hypothesis pipelines, right? Because before, like I said, in my agentic solution that operates on the back end, and I'll demo that in the next series, I dealt with creating these hypothesis testing to be able to come up with these transformation AI enablement project waves to help CPORs scope out incentives for MCI and be able to surface the transparency with the accounting unit. Um, so let's go into the architecture here. Like I said before, I got this custom reference resolver AI pipeline that takes in the industry and domain compliances and be able to map them to a territory and be able to come up with these different hypotheses that's tracked to an opportunity and a lead and an account to be able to create these different project waves for transformation AI enablement. Down here in the pipeline, we'll cover that in the next series, but here we're going to be focused on this new global industry catalog to deal with this industry taxonomy, right? Bringing in the industry codes, bringing in the compliance domains, and mapping them to the different regulatory sources per territory. Um, what triggered me to do this was the hallucination aspect I was experiencing in my AI pipeline. So I began to look at the foundational trigger of my pipeline from that lead qualification, right? That triggered off that hypothesis to move through this reference resolver. The reference resolver references the industry data that's publicly available and indexed from a RAG perspective, which hallucinated a little bit. Even though I had a nice different orchestration of activities to be able to analyze the different hypotheses and the different wave projects, there was this gap that I noticed in the hallucination aspect. So it forced me to look at how a lead is qualified, how that account is mapped. So going over to this in Dynamics, when you look at the account entity, right? My first notice was that when you're qualifying a lead, you have to map them to an industry, and it's just a static map of industries across different enterprise clients. And this is where my first problem lived at. So I said, how do we deal with this? How do we enable the industry between them and the territory? So of course I came up with this mapping where I created an industry catalog where everything is mapped to an industry code lookup. But the idea is to get the industry team collaborating, because what I need in my hypothesis synthesizer, which is the agentic orchestration, was a validation of regulatory resources that's valid for that territory and compliance domain. So looking at this solution, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go into the fundamentals of the app. I call it the industry team member app, where we're able to surface a place for the industry team to collaborate.